Hello, everybody. It's Mkuu Mzee. And I actually had promised myself that I wanted to come back and give the brother Ayame Amoye Neblett. Brother, I'm sorry about messing up your name there. I'm terrible on names. Everybody should know that by now. But Amoye Neblett with his latest work, Nwst Biti. And I wanted to give the props where it was deserved. Um, now. Instead of going, I mean, I'm still going through the book, but I'm almost pretty much complete. But I've always thought that the 18th dynasty was a very powerful dynasty. Everybody has their opinions about what was a more substantial, you know, impact and work and accomplishments of all the dynasties. I think Dynasty 18 lines right up there with all the rest of them in ancient Kemet, but also lies in controversy as well. In my independent study, even before I got this book by the brother Amoye Neblett, um, I've always looked at Dynasty 18 as being a very controversial dynasty. It had very strong rulers, and let me just go down the list real quick. You have Amos II, Amenhotep the first, Tutmos the first, Tutmos the second, Tutmos the third, Hatshepsut, Amenhotep, Tutmos the fourth, Amenhotep the third. And then we get to the controversy. Akhenaten. Akhenaten is very well known for his taking the nation, the spiritual aspect of the nation, down a whole nother road to one all-powerful god or deity named Aten. Um, he it was a time of very, very uh, uh, amassed wealth. I mean, it was nothing that they couldn't do. The problem is that this one leader decided that he wanted to go on his own personal quest to change the dynamic, the spiritual dynamic that his ancestors had laid before him thousands of years ago. Even then, it was thousands of years ago. The third millennium, what is that? Third millennium, I think, is 2000 from 3000 to 2001 BC. So that's the third millennium. That's where he came in at. Many years, 2 millenniums before that, you had a dogmatic path of Ma'at and um, the coalition and the coordination of the deities, the natural spiritual deities aligned with nature. We know very well, ones who study Kemet know that's very, very much the truth. The problem is that um, even though it doesn't say it, it's not recorded that there was some division in his path. The fact of the matter is that he was so powerful that he even changed the spiritual center of his nation. He went down south. Well, we consider it south, but north to them, in a very, very deserted area, very difficult to build there. He even ended up using, um, very, very, it was very low technology. And when he built his temple there, that's why when anybody who has done any archaeological digs, when they go there, they see that the stones are much smaller because he wanted to put it up very quickly. Matter of fact, it only took him like maybe 10, I think it was like 5 years or 6 years to build the temple. So that's why it didn't last long because the bricks was only like maybe a foot wide and 6 inches deep and stuff like that. So in his quest to put his temple up very quickly, he used inferior technology. Not that the materials was inferior. The technology was inferior because he wanted to put it up quick. Okay, so the controversial part. He had his wife Nefertiri. What again was not recorded, and the brother Amoye actually made a comment about that, about Nefertiri ruled briefly after her husband was deposed and exiled and everything else, very, very disgracefully. Even, erasing a lot of his records from the walls of the, of the monuments and things of that nature. So with Nefertari's reign, she actually started going back to the traditional spiritual uh, systems of Ma'at and the nature qualities of the deities, that where it should have been. There was no one, all-encompassing God that Akhenaten tried to do. Um, Following up on that, with his loyalty to his mom, Tutankhamun came into power, because when he got old enough, he came into power, and he continued to build on his mother's um, quest to return the nation back to its original spiritual base, its dogmatic foundations of Ma'at. So I wanted to bring all that to the attention, because I thought that it was very important to understand that when you get into works like this, Amoye Neblett, or anybody's work, for instance, and when they come up with these little jewels, you know what I mean, that tells you what Nefertiti did after her husband Akhenaten. I mean, well, that fact that she ruled, I think what you do, you should automatically go and research that little, pinpoint time of the history of ancient Kemet, and you'll see all this other stuff just pop up, and see. It just so happened to me that I researched that before I got the brother's book, and that's what when I read it, I said, "Oh man, okay, he actually talked about this," and that's why I thought that the brother did a really really good job of researching this material, putting it, publishing it, and getting it out to our people. It's important. It's a very very important piece of work. If anything kind of resonates with you when you go through the book, stop, make a note of it. You may not have to go into the research part of it right then, but look it up, because he's not going to be able to put everything in this book, but he points out certain aspects of the culture where, oh, you know what I mean? I think I need to check that out. Good job, my brother. Mr. Biti, very very good job. I'm going to have the purchase link in the post, in the video. And you guys, you take care, and I'll come back again when I have something of interest. Hotep, Abibifahodie.